Welcome in, everybody, to the Flagship podcast. I am Chip Brown of Horns 24/7, and we are joined in the Flagship podcast interview this week by Texas tight end Cade Brewer. Cade, how are you doing?
Doing well down here in Florida for a little weekend getaway. Doing well. Just trying to stay in shape and, just taking some time off right now, but doing well.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into with you here. Um, from what I hear, you're taking a little time off before you start getting into training for the NFL draft or pro day, all that stuff, the NFL draft process. But well, I wanted to start off with you because you were part of the initial NIL initiative. One of the big group NIL initiatives that Texas supporters have started. Rick Vasquez, the owner of surlyhorns.com, started the Burnt Ends program to get $10,000 to the tight ends at Texas. So tell me how this came about and how it's worked, like if you're getting paid and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it was during fall camp in August. I got a direct message from them on Twitter from the Surly Horns Twitter group, and I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it was kind of like a fluke. I didn't think it was actually real. Then actually my dad texted and called me. He's like, these guys want to do an NIL thing with the tight end groups. I think you should do it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I finally reached back out to him, and we got a little deal going on. We got the 10K over a year deal with a little podcast appearances here and there, and showing up to events that they want us to show up to. But it was a good deal. I mean, every tight end in our room, including Nathan Hatter, one of our walk-on tight ends, got the NIL deal, which is cool. But my dad helped with the contract and just went from there. They've been awesome. They're not getting any profit from the this NIL deal, which is props to them because it's awesome. But it's going well. It's definitely didn't expect to have that big a deal, honestly, coming out of this year.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger deals that obviously initially that had been done anywhere per player. And from what I understand, they paid you get your scholarship stipend. And so they tried to pay it at times, like when you maybe a month where you don't get a scholarship stipend. Tell me how that worked.
Yeah, so me and my dad kind of talked about it, and when we get our scholarship checks, what time of the year, what times of the year that we don't get as much money from our stipends. And usually that time is right now. Really, usually the month of December, we don't get paid from the school if you're on scholarship. So that's where our big bonus comes from. I think it's $1,200 or something like that. But I'm different because I'm obviously done. My eligibility's done. So once your eligibility's done, your NIL deals go away. So I'm actually getting paid a lot more this month than the other tight ends that are staying. But it's been $500 a month. Then this month in December, I think we'll get a $1,200 bonus because we're not getting our stipend check from the school. So that's me and my dad kind of made that rule up, and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, you all have kind of helped Rick Vasquez, Rob Blair, these two guys who've also now started the Pancake Factory, the Horns with Heart initiative to help offensive linemen. And so, what were your expectations going in once NIL passed and became a law? And did this exceed what you thought would happen?
Yeah, I thought, my expectations coming in this NIL deal, I thought it was a huge step in college football, and it's really going to and already change college football as it is. I just saw that the Surly Horn started the Pancake Factory, and each offensive lineman's getting $50K, which is ridiculous. But football is changing. It's changing with the NIL stuff. But I honestly didn't expect the Surly Horns deal and how much money they're going to give. Didn't expect that, but I expected to get some NIL deals from these small companies that me and my dad know, but didn't expect the Surly Horns deal at all, and didn't expect that they would be giving us this much money. But it's awesome. I'm not complaining over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw your mug on a billboard, didn't I?
Yeah, so my dad has a really good friend, and one of his golf buddies. His name is Dave Hinkle, and he founded this beef jerky company called Pure Jerky. And me, Josh Thompson, Cameron Dicker all got together and did a little deal with him. And we got there one day. We went to Westlake High School, went to their fields, and took some photos with one of his camera guys. And he said he's going to put a billboard up on I-35. And it took him a while because we took those pictures in August. But about a couple weeks ago, he sent us a picture, and there it is, a billboard up on I-35. And I was like, dang, that's kind of cool. So we'll see how long it stays up there for. But yeah, we got a billboard on I-35 that going up to Dallas. So
that's wild. Now, is Kerstetter, who I know is a friend of yours, is he pissed that he's leaving right as this NIL money's coming?
Yes, I'm sure he's really mad. Yeah, I mean, I saw that Denzel, Okafor, and Tope Amade are tweeting about it. I mean, I would be mad too, especially to them. They stayed there 6 years. So, especially them staying 6 years and finally getting an NIL opportunity, and then they graduate, and now the O-linemen are getting $50K a year. So, I mean, I would be mad too. I'm mad. I'm not even an O-lineman, so. But
now some guys are killing it. Like Bijan is killing it. I've heard he's over $1 million. He won't talk about it.
Oh yeah.
It's humble.
He's got a NIL deal with every company. I think it's ridiculous. He went to Vegas last week for the boxing thing.
Yeah.
DAZN, whatever that company's called. But yeah, he's doing well. I know that for sure.
And he's represented by David Mulligetta of Athletes First, who's one of the top agents in sports.
Not surprising. He's a rich man. Say that.
Rich in personality, rich in talent, and rich in the pocketbook.
Exactly.
So how do you think this NIL stuff affects the locker room?
I think you can't let this NIL stuff get carried away by meaning that letting that stuff affect you on the football field. I think, it takes a certain amount of, pride and a good attitude about not worrying about NIL stuff. Let that stuff take care of itself off the field, and not bringing that stuff onto the football field, into the locker room. I think that's going to be the big issue as this NIL stuff keeps going on, especially with this new deal that O-linemen have. Yeah, it's going to gain recruits. Yeah, it's going to gain national attention. But can you forget all about that in the locker room and on the field? I think that's going to be the big issue with this NIL stuff.
Yeah, especially the incoming guys, because Sark has made no bones about the fact he wants to bring in 7 to 9 offensive linemen in this 22 recruiting class to try to get that position group fortified. And so now recruits see that if they go to Texas, they get $50,000 every single scholarship O-lineman. How's the established locker room going to view guys coming in on the offensive line now who are going to get $50,000 and they haven't been there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it holds a lot of expectations for the guys coming in. I mean, especially the guys that are big time recruits coming in here that, hey, maybe they're coming here just because of that reason. And that's good for that. It's good for the school, good for the football team. But can you not let that affect how you play on the field, like I was saying earlier? And that's going to be the big question. I think you can't let this NIL stuff affect you on the field, and so I think that's the big thing, honestly.
Well, we'll take a quick break here on the Flagship podcast interview with Texas tight end Cade Brewer. When we come back, I'll remind him that he was once committed to my alma mater, SMU, along with his buddy Charlie Brewer, and Cade came in with Tom Herman in the class of 2017. We'll get into that. Don't go away. We'll be right back on the Flagship podcast interview. And if you're watching us on the Horns 24/7 YouTube channel, we'll just roll on here with Cade Brewer. And Cade, you were once committed to SMU with Charlie Brewer. And I was ecstatic about it as a SMU alum. And obviously bigger and better things came along. But do you ever think back to what might have been if you and Charlie went to SMU? Obviously, Charlie threw for over 10,000 yards at Baylor and is back in the transfer portal right now, I believe.
Yes, he is.
You know where he's going?
I don't yet. I know he's got a couple schools in mind, but I don't know exactly where he's going to go. But it'll be interesting.
Do you ever think back on what if, or have you not thought about it since the day
That's
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought about it. That would have been crazy if me and Charlie both would happen. I never thought Texas was going to come and offer me a scholarship. Came really late in my senior year, and by the grace of God, it got an offer from Texas. Always wanted an offer from Texas, and couldn't pass up the opportunity. But yeah, it's crazy. If I went to SMU, how things would have been different. And Coach Morris was one of the main reasons I committed there, because I already had a good relationship with him being like Travis and Charlie too. So with him leaving, like after a year or two after I've committed, like that would have been weird, and I don't know. It just would have been different. I don't know. Definitely would have been different. I'm thinking about it right now. I think I would have not been as heavy. Would have been a little slot receiver, I think. That's what they were telling me. But definitely would have been different. But who knows what would have happened if I went to SMU. So.
Yeah, I mean, you and I mentioned going into the break that you came in with Tom Herman. You were in the class of 2017, so you were there for the whole Herman experience, and then of course got a year with Steve Sarkisian. And what are you going to remember most from your first 4 years at Texas?
I think what I'm going to remember most is, on the football side, I think I improved as a blocker, like drastically from high school. I think, coming out of high school, I was basically a receiver, but then coming here, I, came into a really good blocker. And I think that's one of the main things that's changed since I got here on the football side. But, I thought Coach Herman, obviously I have a great deal of respect for him, because he, gave me an opportunity to play at this university, and not the other Texas coaches did. So, I uphold him to that. But I think that that's what I'll remember most on the football side. And Coach Herman gave me an opportunity to play here. Is what I'll remember most about him.
And he's he makes no bones about the fact that he's got to be the the black hat, the crazy-eyed drill sergeant, the taskmaster to keep everyone headed in the same direction. He once told me it's exhausting doing it, but it's a different way. It's the Urban Meyer approach. Fear is one of the primary motivators in that equation. Does that work? And Urban Meyer said he didn't want to coach college anymore, and he's going to the NFL because he was worried his style wouldn't work in the age of the transfer portal. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think college football is changing in that aspect. The transfer portal has changed everything, honestly. It's so easy to transfer now. You literally just go on the website. Well, I don't even know how to do it, but you just go on the portal and bam, you can go play it anywhere in the next year or that season. So I think that the transfer portal has changed college football tremendously. But yeah, I think, you know, Coach Herman did a little more. He has a little more different style than Coach Sark does, but it doesn't do all the the crazy punishments like eating like the burnt eggs and all that stuff. He doesn't really do that, but they have similar philosophies with how they coach and how they discipline guys. But yeah, it's the portal has changed everything, honestly, and I agree with Coach Meyer. It's changed college football and how easy it is to get in the portal and go somewhere else.
Well, let's go back to the burnt toast and the drinking out of a hose and all that stuff. Did that only happen during the summer, or
Well,
did it only happen the first year? When were the competitions where the winners got hot breakfast and the losers got?
yeah, so that was during the winter. I know the first year, the first spring that Coach Herman got there, I heard it was pretty, they were actually giving them like burnt stuff and then like burnt eggs, burnt food, whatever. The losers had to do it. As the years went on, when I got there, it kind of got, the losers had to, had to eat. It wasn't like burnt eggs or anything, but it wasn't as good of a breakfast as the winners had. But yeah, I heard the first spring that Herman got there, it was they were actually eating like burnt toast and burnt eggs and all that stuff.
And
But I actually wasn't there for it. But
well, no, I would imagine you were at the champions dinners.
yeah, I got some of those bad breakfasts too.
Yeah. Okay.
I think everyone has, but yeah, I also had some of those breakfasts that were good breakfasts, and there actually were good breakfasts. So it was definitely wanted to have a good breakfast on those days, because if you didn't, it was not going to be that good of a breakfast. So
okay, so if you got a bad breakfast, it was burnt toast, runny
I don't
eggs, cold oatmeal. What was it?
I don't remember exactly. When I was there, they weren't doing that. I was eating, I can't remember. It was like a apple and like a protein shake or something like that. But the winners got like breakfast tacos, pancakes, all that stuff,
Okay.
But I wasn't there for the burnt food or any of that, so I can't attest to that. But I heard about it for sure.
Okay. Let's see. So you were a freshman on the Sugar Bowl team. What year were you?
I was a sophomore.
Okay. So things are looking up. I mean, take us through that. Was that the high point of the on-field?
The Sugar Bowl season?
Yeah.
Yeah. After we won the Sugar Bowl, I think we had huge momentum going into 2019 season. With Sam coming back, having a great year, returning a lot of starters on offense and defense as well. So I think, going into that season, I think we had a lot of momentum. And, 2018, we had a talented group of guys on that team. We had I can't remember the top of my head, but we had a lot of draft picks, if I believe, and they're still playing right now. And so we did in 2019, but I think 2018 definitely gave us a lot of momentum going into 2019. And, we were good in 2019. I still know we played LSU close. I remember that because that's one of the best teams in college football history. We played them close, had a chance to beat them, but then, had a lot of close games, couldn't finish out, and had a lot of injuries too, I think, that year. But, yeah, definitely thought we were going to have a better 2019 season, but that's what it is.
The closing out of games obviously became a thing this year in 2021.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like each week it was different. I mean, it wasn't, against OU, the offense put up a ton of points. Defense had some struggles against Oklahoma State. The offense, the defense was good for 3/4. The offense was up and down. And then, Baylor, there was some drop passes, and, it was different each week. I mean, when you think back on it now, What do you think it was?
I think it was a lot of little things turning into big things, like you're saying, the Baylor game. We're going down into the half, going about to at least get a field goal going into the half, and we had the draw pass, and they got the pick, and they had momentum going in the second half of that game, and I don't know, we just couldn't finish in that game. There's a lot of those games that are like that, that little things were turning into big things, and yeah, it was just I don't know. I wish I could have went back and changed what happened, but I know there was a lot of little things that were happening in the games that turned into big things, like not like I said in the Baylor game, we're going at halftime, getting a field goal or touchdown, and throwing that pick, but just happened at wrong times.
Yeah.
That so Iowa State, we got our butt kicked, and Arkansas, we got our butt kicked, but the other games we had chances to win. So
Well, take me through the Kansas. I mean, they finally got you downfield and you catch the touchdown
yeah,
with 22 seconds left. I mean, that was as crazy as it gets. Take me through, the play call and what
okay,
you're thinking at the line. Take me through that whole play.
yeah. So I can't remember if the defense got a stop. We got the punt back. DJ had a pretty good return. Then we had 20 seconds left. Then we actually ran this play, the play I scored on. We actually ran this play like 4 or 5 times during the game, and we just got him in the right coverage. They're in man coverage, and I ran a bluff and go on the corner, acting like I was going to block the corner. Then went up the seam, and I beat my guy, and just went up and got it. Casey threw a pretty good ball where I can catch it, and man, rest is history. But there's a perfect play call by Sark. I remember lining up for that play, and Sark was telling me, he's like, throw it to the wide, and he's throw it to the tight end, and because it was man coverage, and I guess Casey heard him, and bam, beat him, and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, the ending obviously was a heartbreaker, but
Anyway, yeah, definitely.
that was a great moment. Especially since you were the guy in terms of being the blocking tight end the last couple of years, and last year, I think now you can tell people, in 2020 how banged up you were. I mean, you were getting your knee drained, like
Yeah,
I mean, take us through all the injuries from 2020.
yeah. 2020 was a tough year for me, honestly, because I was playing banged up almost every game, and a lot of people didn't know. Like you said, I had my knee drained. My knee looked like it was bruised up from middle of my shin all the way to the middle of my thigh, and I did that in Oklahoma State game, and I barely played. I think the next week against West Virginia because of my knee, and then I sprained both AC joints in my shoulder, one in the OU game, then one in practice during the bye week. Then that was rough. And I think I had then in the Tech game I sprained my MCL and had to deal with that. So yeah, I had to deal with a lot of injuries that a lot of people didn't know about, and didn't get as much playing time because of those injuries, and didn't miss a lot of time because of the injuries, especially in this West Virginia game. I remember that I only played like one drive, and um, you know didn't play the best as I could because of those injuries, and I wasn't 100% basically the whole season. So it was relieving this year because I didn't have any of those problems. I started and played in all games, injury free. So I was really happy about that after the K-State game, that I got through a whole season injury free, and it was relieving because I never had that in my college career except my sophomore year where I didn't really play because of Andrew Beck. But yeah, I was excited about that this year, that I got through a season without getting injured. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
2020 was rough for sure.
yeah, I'm sure that was part of the nice payoff for coming back and playing your COVID redshirt season. Um, you've also had a chance to look at the guys who will be coming back. The guys who are your burn ends NIL initiative. Gunnar Helm, Juan Davis, Jatavian Sanders, and Braden Liebrock was hurt this year, but Jared Wiley. What do you think of those young guys? Gunnar Helm, Juan Davis. Take me through what stands out about Gunnar Helm.
Gunner's a very smart guy. He's a very smart football player. He's very physical for being a freshman. He's going to be a good player. I think Gunner's going to be a great player here at Texas. I think that he has a lot of potential. He can catch the ball really well. He can block. He's improving as a blocker. But the sky's the limit for him. For Juan, really good receiver, really fast. Definitely the fastest in the tight end room, by far, honestly. Really fast. He catches the ball really well. He's getting a lot better as a blocker. He's more of like a move H-back. You're not gonna see Juan put his hand on the ground and block a defensive end, but he's very good at like the slide back, kick out blocks, and very good in space. Jatavian, very big dude, very athletic. 5-star coming out of high school, whatever. Can block very well. He's improving as a blocker as well. They can all catch the ball. They're all really good receivers. It's funny because we all joked about it all year. JT was getting like 5 balls at practice. I don't know how. He was always open and getting balls. So they're all 3, really good tight ends. They're all improving well. And I think that they're only going to get better as the years go.
And what about Jared? Because now he's the veteran guy in the room.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. I think he'll be a senior this year. But yeah, he's a veteran guy. He's gotten so much better at blocking over the years. I remember when he first came in, he wasn't very good. He'll tell him himself, but he's definitely gotten better as a blocker. He's gotten so much stronger since he's gotten here. He can move guys. He can move defensive ends pretty well. I think he put that on tape this year. He can catch the ball as well. He's very smart too. We have a very smart room. Everyone's pretty smart in the room, and I think that's critical at the tight end position. So Jared's going to be a veteran guy in that group for sure this year.
When you look at the quarterback situation, obviously everybody does, especially at Texas. Everything gets scrutinized. Casey was playing pretty well up to the thumb injury, and he even had some games where he played okay after the thumb injury. But what do you think the thumb injury, what kind of impact do you think it had?
Yeah, I think it had a pretty good impact because I think he wasn't his best as he could have been all year because he was worried about the thumb like almost every game. And I think that, it's on his throwing hand too, which is, a big deal because, injuring your thumb on your throwing hand can obviously affect how you throw the ball. So I think that, and you're practicing almost every day. So you're not really giving that thumb rest because you don't really have days off during the season. So I think he didn't get that critical recovery time for that thumb that he needed. So he just kept throwing the ball every day and not, getting that rest that he needed, and also playing the games, just going to get hit and stuff. So, I think that could have had an impact on how he played this year. I don't know, but injuring your thumb on your throwing hand definitely can affect how you throw the ball. So, I'll say that.
Well, your position coach, Jeff Banks, is one of the more animated, interesting guys. He obviously had a unfortunate, situation come up during the season with Monkeygate and everything. But tell us about Jeff Banks. A lot of people don't know him, obviously, the way you do. What's he like? What's he like as a coach? What stands out about him?
Yeah, Coach Banks he's a really good coach. One of the best coaches I've had since I've been here. He's my fourth position coach, and I think he's, one of, if not the best coach I've had. I think he's, he's a very good coach, very good teacher. He's hard when he needs to be hard. He's, he's a player's coach. He like, when you need a rest, he'll get you a rest. When he needs to get on you, he'll get on you. And I think that it's really fitting as a player. He wants to build relationships with players, and especially the tight end room. And I think that, there's stuff off the field that makes him look bad and makes him think he's, not a good guy and all this. But, it's not true. I think that, Mita perceives him as that guy, but he's also, great guy. He's a great coach. And he's fun to be around too.
What, when you look at this staff, a lot of people are, wondering what Sark needs to do to have the program take the next step. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's getting the right guys in the program, getting the right players that believe in the culture, that believe in what the staff is doing. I think it starts there. And, I think Coach Sark's put together a really good staff. I don't think that's it. That's the issue. We just need everyone in the program, involved in the program, buying into what Sark's, preaching. And I think that's, once we get that, once everyone buys in and believes in what he's doing, I think that's ultimately going to change how this program is going to be and how it's going to take that next step.
So he needs to get his guys in, get guys in who are about him and his culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all successful teams are. I think that, players, when players believe in the culture and they live by the culture 24/7, that's how you get the Alabamas, the teams that are in the playoff this year. I think that's how you get those teams that, not only the players, but everybody in the building, trainers, nutrition staff, like everyone in the building that's involved, bought in. And I think that's how you get that next step.
Did you room with Dicker?
I did this year. I have a semester.
So is he coming back or is he done?
He's being weird about it. I don't know. I gotta let him answer that for you, but
Because he's like within striking distance of the all-time scoring record.
I know if he comes back here, he's gonna break all that.
Yeah, if he comes back, he'll break it.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Okay,
I really don't know. He's definitely being weird about it, but I think if I were to put money on it, I bet he would come back. But I don't know.
Okay, so because you were his holder in high school, right?
I was his holder for 2 years in high school. Well, holding was easy in high school. I just put on a tee. Now, like when you get to college and the next level, the kickers have a spot you put it on. They want you to put it on, so like you can't miss that spot or it's gonna mess them up. But in high school, you had a tee. It was easy, just put on the tee. But like you had to put on a certain spot. But no, yeah, I was the holder for him in high school.
Because I mean, Dicker had a great year this year.
Yeah, he did.
Phenomenal punting, 47 yards per punt.
He's a great punter.
Yeah.
He has a strong leg. Like it's ridiculous how strong his leg is. And
I mean, he's definitely got a chance at the next level.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And speaking of the next level, what tell us about your plans, what you got going heading into pro day? And
yeah, so I think I'm going to be training here. Well, I know I'm going to be training here in Austin with this guy named Matthew Neal. I've been training with him since high school. He's been training a bunch of NFL guys as well. This place is called Acceleration, and it's over there in Spicewood off 71. But I'll be with him. I believe in him. I trust him. So be with him. I start next week. I've narrowed my agents down to 2 guys. So probably going to be figuring that out next week as well. So next week's a big week. But we'll start training next week with Matt for pro day and stuff.
It's exciting. I mean, look, some guys have have made good NFL careers for themselves at that tight end position. Maybe, people didn't even think that they would, guys like Jeff Swaim and at other schools too. So it just takes one team to like you,
Yeah. Just need an opportunity. That's really what I want, just opportunity.
Yeah. All right. So last thing, take us behind the scenes. Tell us something we don't know about Steve Sarkisian.
Oh, I guess I'll say this because I'm a golfer, but I know he's a big golfer. Every time I get to talk to him one-on-one, we talk about golf a lot. So, hopefully one of these days we can play together and I'll show him who's boss in golf. So,
Yep. What's your handicap?
right now it's probably like I haven't been playing obviously, but it's probably around 5 or 6.
That's good.
I've gone down to like a 2.
Wow.
When I was playing during COVID, because COVID, I was playing like almost every day because couldn't do anything else. But
Wow.
yeah, I've gone down to 2. I can beat my dad pretty easily. He won't say that. He won't
Yeah, he
agree
was
with
a
that.
college golfer.
Yeah, he was. He thinks he can beat me like almost every time, but he can't. But yeah.
What's Sarkisian's handicap?
I have no idea.
He doesn't say.
I don't remember. I mean, I know he's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not bad. And I've never seen him play, but he says he plays a lot and he loves games. So he's
What's
probably
the
not
funniest thing he's said, like in a team setting?
bad. There's one practice, one of the practices this year during the season, and we're in a 7-on-7 period, and so we're in 12 personnel. So Tavion was in, Juan were in. They're the 2 tight ends that were in with the 2s, and I think JT, we call him JT. I think JT ran like the wrong route or did something wrong, and Sark goes, "Hey Javier!" He called him Javier for some reason. We're all like, "What the? Like, what's going on? Who's Javier?" He's like, "Javier, like run this route." I can't remember what he did wrong, but everyone's looking around like, "What the hell? Like, who's Javier?" He's like, "Oh, my bad. I meant JT." It was just so funny because he called him Javier like the whole practice. And we're like, "Who's Javier?" And because he was talking to JT, but he was calling him Javier. It was so funny.
Oh my god.
That's the only thing I can remember. But yeah,
That's
that was
so
pretty funny. We got a good laugh out of that.
Who's Javier? Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
JT.
called him Javier and wasn't even like, I don't even know. It's not even close to Chavion letter, but that was funny.
Well, listen, Cade, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you taking some time for us here at the Flagship podcast. Nothing but the best for your training heading into Pro Day, and fascinating to hear how the Burn Ends program worked, and it's worked. I mean, they're gonna pay you the 10 G's, huh?
Yeah, yep. They'll be playing the rest of the contract and like next week, I think.
That's awesome.
It's nice.
That's awesome. You are living, breathing proof that these NIL initiatives, at least the ones involving Rick Vasquez and Rob Blair, come through.
Yep.
All right. Well, those offensive linemen are going to be.
They're in good hands. They are.
In good hands.
But yeah.
Well, listen. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Go get some golf in or something. And for Cade Brewer, I am Chip Brown of Horns 24/7. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the Flagship podcast interview. Until next time, stay safe and keep the faith.